Jake Johnson, who you may know from New Girl or perhaps as one of the voices in the Spider-Verse films, has written, directed, and starred in a new film, and it's on Hulu now. It's a comedy thriller called Self Reliance. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film Self Reliance. This is on Hulu right now and features Jake Johnson. Anna Kendrick is here as well in a supporting role, and the two of them have worked together on many projects in the past. Most of them have been independent movies, but on occasion there's like a big budget film as well. And one of those would be Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Horrible movie, but they were both in that. So obviously they've developed a bit of a friendship over the years, and love to see the two of them together. So they're both in this. Before I launch into the specifics, though, of this film, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day something new goes up. So there's always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing. Hit that like button, comment down below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. But also, if you're looking for some more specific things, you can check out the playlist on my homepage, where I have all of the the movie reviews and the TV reviews kind of separated a little bit. If you're getting kind of lost in the sauce of all the videos that I post. So anyway, let's talk about Self Reliance. Jake Johnson, love this guy from New Girl and so many other things. He was in this great show Stumptown a few years ago. But he stars here as Tommy, and this is, by the way, his directorial debut. He has written some other things. Obviously, he's starred in many things. And I think he may, by the end, have directed some episodes of New Girl. But in terms of a feature film, this is his debut in that regard. But he stars as Tommy, who is, kind of a down on his luck guy. He is suffering the effects of a bad breakup a few years ago, still kind of reeling from that. And Andy Samberg pulls up to him in a limo. He's playing himself, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you Andy Samberg?" So he gets in the limo, and Andy basically tells him that he has been selected to participate in this $1 million dark web game show, in where he will be hunted for 30 days, and if he can survive, then he wins $1 million. But he discovers a loophole, Tommy does, that if he is not alone, he cannot be hunted. So he tries to get his family and friends and some new people to his life as well, including a homeless man played by Biff Whiff. Don't know who that person is, but I love his name. And he's pretty funny in this. But he has to kind of convince them, okay, you need to stick with me. And that's also where Anna Kendrick comes in, because he does post something on Craigslist saying like, hey, I'm part of this game. Does anybody know anything about it? Is anybody else a part of this? And she calls him and says, oh, I'm in this too. So, and there's a bunch of other like one scene people that I don't really want to give away. I sort of knew going into it because I read the cast list. And I don't know why I did it. I hate trailers. I don't like knowing things going into it. But I did look at the cast list, and then there's a lot of famous names on there that eventually do appear, but only for like a scene or whatever. So we're gonna leave that on the table for now. So this is a comedy thriller. There's definitely some elements of genuine danger here, and there's a few minor action sequences, and Tommy gets a bit roughed up throughout, but he also kind of suffers from maybe some disillusionment in the past. So none of his family really believes him. They think, okay, you're just, making up stories again or whatever. So they're really not much help. So he has to rely more on, some strangers, which lends itself, I think, to some interesting comedic setups, some that pay off. Maybe some that don't. The most frustrating part of this movie, and I say all the time about the ending, can make or break a movie. One of the famous things about Saturday Night Live is that sometimes they don't know how to wrap their skits up. That was, I think, the most true when I was coming up, like in the late 80s, the 90s. The sketches would just sort of meander by the end, and then they would just either end or peter out or drag on way too long and then end. But this movie, I really, really believe, didn't know how to end. I think Johnson maybe should have had some help, forming the end of this. And we're not going to do spoilers, like I said, so I'm not going to go into detail about, you know, my specific issues with it, but it sort of meanders and then just goes nowhere and ends. And it was super unsatisfying. And it's a short movie to begin with. It's less than 90 minutes. So, you know, already, you know, and I didn't feel the length of it. Although I wouldn't say I thought it felt super short. But you know, it never certainly dragged. I mean, it makes the most of its time, but you could have tacked on maybe 10 extra minutes to kind of shape an ending a little bit better than they did. And it was so dissatisfying, it made the rest of the movie kind of like a who cares type of thing. And again, I won't go into why at this point, but that's kind of how I felt about it. Now, the rest of the movie is, I think, okay. You know, I was sort of in like a B kind of a range. I'm not sure if it's as funny as it could be, but it certainly had a few laugh out loud moments. Like I said, some of the cameos are welcome and enjoyable. But and look, and his chemistry with Anna Kendrick, you know, is always great. So you know, there's some funny moments. Andy Samberg playing himself, I don't know that I loved that either. The first scene where we see Andy Samberg was fine, made sense, and then it goes down this weird path. The second time we see him, but again, that's towards the end of the film, so you know, maybe that's part of the inability to kind of work a proper ending into this. And they, at that point, were just maybe throwing everything against the wall. So, you know, that is a bummer. But in terms of Johnson's directing, I will say, I thought it was pretty good, you know, especially for a thriller. That is not, you know, comedy, thriller, action comedy. Those are sort of hard to kind of bridge sometimes, especially since he wrote it as well. And I do think it's got a nice balance throughout of the comedy meets the thriller slash action aspect of it. But that ending just kills it for me, for any sort of rewatchability factor or anything like that. So for that, I will leave Self Reliance with a C minus. Yeah, an ending can, like I always say, really make or break something. And I was in that kind of B, maybe B minus range at the beginning, but the ending just knocks it down a whole letter grade. So I leave Self Reliance with a C minus. You can check it out now on Hulu if you so desire, and that'll do it for Darren Reviews It. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.